in Beverly Hills and got out of Beverly High and wanted to go to UCLA, but I had to go make up some grades at a junior college. And there was Harry. That's when I met Harry.
Memory is a subjective process, and we remember select things and forget others. Even though Harry and Charlotte share many of the same experiences, their memories are not identical.
And on the way home, he said, maybe we ought to get married. I think I said, shouldn't we get married? He'd asked me to go someplace.
I think the question went like, we'll get married, won't we?
Something like that. And he said, oh, of course.
Oh,
of course.
yeah, no, but yeah.
So we did.
Why do we remember what we remember? What is memory?
Memory is a set of interrelated processes that allows us to access and store information over a long period of time, from only a few seconds to maybe our entire lives. It would be almost impossible to conceptualize an independent life without good use of memory. We have to remember on almost a daily basis to pick up something at the store, to go to a doctor's appointment, to take medications, to take children to a specific place. That's called prospective memory. There are other memory tasks we have to do for independent life as well. We have to remember the names of our family and friends, for example.
We count on our memory for everything, from the most routine tasks to solving complicated problems. Usually our memories are reliable, but sometimes they fail us. When we miss the answer on a test we know we knew but couldn't remember. Or forget an appointment. How does memory work?
Human memory is made up of 3 stages: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding consists of getting the information and manipulating it in some way so that you can store it or keep it for a long period of time. So storage is just the process whereby you actually are keeping the information in mind. Retrieval is accessing the information. For example, at a party, when you want to retrieve your friend's name, Bob, you have to go through a process of getting that information back out of a longer-term memory store.
Somebody's on the battlefield and a shell goes off nearby. That's encoding of an experience. That's an episode. A shell goes off and the person certainly has his or her attention drawn to the shell going off nearby. That's the encoding. Now, after the encoding experience, the brain works for a while to put that into storage, puts it into consolidation. And if it's a very powerful experience, such as a shell going off nearby, there will be very, very powerful consolidation of that memory. It'll be a long-lasting, powerful memory. Now, let's say 50, 60 years later, somebody is at a 4th of July celebration and a firecracker goes off nearby. That firecracker is very likely to cause the retrieval of that memory of the battlefield experience. And it takes certain kinds of information or cues to pull out that stored memory, and that's the retrieval process.
There is no single model that explains all the aspects of human memory. One very influential model commonly used to demonstrate the basic workings of memory is the stage model of memory. In this model, memory involves 3 distinct stages or systems.
The 3 systems of memory are sensory storage, short-term or working memory, and long-term memory. Sensory storage refers to the kind of fleeting representation, sometimes referred to as an icon in the visual case or an echo in the auditory case, that is a more or less automatic consequence of perceiving or encoding stimuli from the outside world, whether visual or auditory. Unless that is attended to, those traces decay very, very rapidly. So whether information is presented auditorily or visually, when we encode it in short-term memory, we encode it in terms of a kind of internal articulatory or speech code. Long-term memory is this amazing repository that what people usually refer to as their memories, a huge, basically unlimited system where knowledge is stored.
There are 3 different types of information stored in our long-term memory: procedural, semantic, and episodic. Procedural information refers to how to perform different skills, operations, and actions from making a pot of coffee to typing a letter. Semantic information represents your personal encyclopedia of accumulated data and trivia. This includes facts, names, definitions, concepts, and ideas. And finally, episodic information, which is about specific events and episodes. This is the primary type of memory we are discussing and the kind of things Harry and Charlotte are talking about.
So I go up to City College, which is up north Vermont, and there's a course there. Prepare yourself to take the test. Now, to be in the Air Force, you have to have 2 years college or the equivalent test. So I went to this class, and it was standing room only. And I was standing up in the back, and there were two girls. I knew one of them, June Loudon, and the other one was Charlotte, sitting in the front row. And the instructor's kind of giving us an idea what the course is about. And he said, "Okay, girls, out." And they kicked him out, and they said,
we thought it'd be a wonderful place to meet young men. That man was not very understanding.
So the instructor said, you girls can leave. So he motioned for me to come and take a seat. And he said, "You guys are in luck. They're going to give them the test tomorrow at 6th and Ardmore." Well, I knew where that was. My mother lived in the garage behind it. And so I took the test, and I passed it. So I didn't have to take the course. But the day that I met Charlotte was after the class. I went out and I said, "I'm sorry, I had to take your chair."
So I did meet you.
So I was talking to June Loudon, and they introduced us, and I think we went to a hop that afternoon.
Probably. We loved those hops.
And so I had no reason to go to school just to be social. So I used to go up to school when I wasn't working. I was waiting to be called. And I was sworn in April 6, 42 to start this Air Force program.
Sometimes our memories are connected to specific experiences and events. For the people who came of age in the years right before, during, and shortly after World War II, that event had a profound effect on their lives. That experience is connected through their mutual memories and provides a semantic network in which those memories are organized and associated. For Harry and other veterans, the memory of their experiences in the Second World War is still very vivid and real. Every week, Harry and some of his friends gather at a local restaurant to reminisce.
December the 7th, the war came along, and I was a chemist. I resigned my position and joined up as a flying cadet at Fairfax Airport in Kansas City, Kansas. I didn't sign up till the 20th of December 1941, and I stayed around a month before they sent me to flying school.
Well, I enlisted by getting on the red car in Pasadena and going down to Los Angeles at the train station, and went through some exercises and went right on into the service. We had a choice at that time where the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and everything had different desks set up, and after you went through, you could walk out and take the choice of which branch of the service you wanted to go into, and I selected the Air Force.
Long-term memory can also store an amazing amount of facts and figures. Tim Owens was fascinated by the athlete Jesse Owens and still remembers his world records from the early 40s.
Oh, yes, that was 9.4 in the 100-yard dash, and he went 26 feet, 8 1/4 inches, and he ran the 220 and 20.3, and the low hurdles 22.6.